The peaceful garden fades into a memory as Elsa frantically sprints through the empty corridor, bursting through doors. Where on earth did that red-haired girl disappear to? Deep within Yvonne's mind, darkness surges like a tide. Cruel whispers of nobody loves you and kill yourself pierce her thoughts, shattering her self-worth completely. Despair nearly consumes her. When she comes to, she is standing on the edge of the roof. Crows circle overhead, waiting for a destined death, the air thick with omen. What am I doing? Yvonne recoils in terror. This isn't suicide. Purple tentacles bind her, hijacking her body and forcing her toward the abyss against her will. As her feet leave the ledge, the will to live overrides fear. Dangling in the wind, she screams through tears, "Someone, please save me. I don't want to die." In the nick of time, a hand grabs her. Elsa hangs upside down, gritting her teeth under their combined weight. They crash land safely, an embrace born of survival. Elsa scolds Yvonne furiously, but her gaze sharpens instantly. Sensing the lingering black mist, she shields Yvonne behind her, staring down the unseen danger. As the danger subsides, Elsa holds the trembling girl tight, but confusion grows. A mere attack here? The story is derailing from its original script. The warmth is shattered as the red Villainess system interface explodes into view. The timer ticks down with two cruel choices: push Elsa off the roof or watch her die. Yvonne tries to resist, but a shockwave of pain tears through her body. Elsa watches in panic as the girl in her arms convulses, deafening warning alarms ringing in the air. Agony forces Yvonne to her knees, her vision filled with red, warning signs. The system deems her non-compliant. She curses the mechanism internally, helpless against its invisible chains. To protect Elsa, Yvonne pushes her away with a painful lie. "This is just a test for you. Go find your true, destined soulmate and leave me be." Those words trigger a buried memory for Elsa. In a sunlit meadow, her younger self once innocently asked her mother about that happily ever after destiny. Back then, with a butterfly on her finger, she was confused. Her mother gently but sternly taught her that talent is a test, and she must bravely chase her destiny. Her mother's face in the memory turns sorrowful and resolved. A final plea: never let them exploit your weakness. Even if you are alone, you must survive to the end. Then came the nightmare. In a solemn courtroom, the gavel fell, stripping the Smollett family of their titles. Her mother's words echoed as she was branded a traitor and exiled. Even in chains before the cold judgment seat, Elsa held her head high. That slight, scornful smirk was the fallen noble's last act of defiance against her cruel fate. Back to the present school days. Just as Elsa is bored and missing someone, that redhead suddenly appears, blushing with an absurd request. "Please bully me." Why? Elsa is baffled. She imagines classic Otome game love interests, demon kings, gentle seniors. Shouldn't her destined soulmate be one of them? Suddenly, a pink romantic CG pops up, forcefully declaring Yvonne as the destined soulmate. Elsa finally snaps. "Don't just decide that and pop up out of nowhere." Yvonne tries to sever this twisted bond, only to be grabbed tight, Elsa's eyes shimmering with baffling persistence and tears. To drive her away, Yvonne feigns cruelty as a convict's daughter, but Elsa interprets this bullying as a gift that fulfills her deepest wishes. Faced with Elsa's boundless self-sacrifice, Yvonne is torn between anger and helplessness, unable to grasp why someone would suffer just to restore her reputation. Realizing the devotion behind this masochism, Yvonne is shaken and firmly rejects help bought with pain, triggering the system's alarm. In that moment of softness, the villainous system's cold countdown descends, injecting fear back into Yvonne's veins with the threat of punishment. Cornered, Yvonne tremblingly picks up the water cup, every step heavy, her heart torn between the system's coercion and her conscience. The water splashes, eliciting only a moment of shock and a blush from Elsa. Yvonne stares at the absurdity, wondering if this even counts as villainy. The so-called bullying crumbles instantly. Guilt-ridden, Yvonne rushes to offer a jacket, while Elsa, wrapped in warmth, looks at her with love far more overwhelming than the harm. What began as a hostile mission ends as a picnic under the blossoms. Watching a blissful Elsa, Yvonne sinks into utter self-doubt. Time passes, but the twisted bond remains. In the corridor, Yvonne tries to halt Elsa's advance, the air thick with ambiguous confrontation. Facing Yvonne's bluffing warnings, Elsa doesn't retreat but blushes, confessing her obsession with this special treatment. Just as Yvonne tries to mock her, Elsa smilingly brings up the memory that makes both their hearts race, the declaration of love on the blackboard. It was the system's cruelest test, demanding Elsa be paired with someone ugly for humiliation. Yvonne stared at the task with disgust and resistance. To spare the innocent, Yvonne exploited a loophole, her hand trembling as she wrote the only name that wouldn't truly hurt Elsa, her own. Assuming Elsa, on cleaning duty, would silently erase the graffiti, Yvonne hoped this humiliation would end quietly without a trace. Yet the moment she opens the door, Yvonne freezes. The wall full of Elsa, love, Yvonne is still there, on display for everyone to see. Hearing Elsa shyly ask for permission to erase, Yvonne wants to die of shame. This isn't bullying, it's a public execution. Fleeing the scene, Yvonne desperately comforts herself, blaming the system for everything, trying to mask her panic with forced helplessness. But Elsa won't let it go, swooning over Yvonne's possessive claim, "Only I can bully her," leaving Yvonne to crumble under the lightning strike of shame. Footsteps halt on the tiled floor, the air freezing instantly. Elsa lowers her head, her intuition piercing like a needle. Ultimately, aren't you in this situation because of me? Yvonne turns away, sweat beading on her brow, frantically trying to hide the secret of the system only she can see. "You are my destined soulmate." Elsa's tearful confession lands like a thunderclap. Yvonne spirals into panic, citing princes and scripts to refute it, but her resolve crumbles as she turns to leave. Under falling cherry blossoms, she lets that heavy love rest upon her shoulder. There is no escape. "But I like you." The soft whisper shatters all defenses, misting Yvonne's eyes. Sunlight stretches their shadows as they walk back to back. Anticipating the difficult 3 years ahead, a ripple of helpless warmth spreads through her heart. The road is long, but she is no longer alone. On the grass, Elsa beams with a bento box in hand. Despite the forced villainous missions and their exiled fate, Yvonne looks at the girl who always twists her malice into love. Under the warm sun, the uncertain future fades behind this moment of peace. In the fragrant garden, Elsa embraces the villainess tightly from behind, cheeks flushed. Yvonne struggles in panic, tears welling up. How does the designated bully always end up so flustered by the victim? The scene shifts to lunch break, where solitary Yvonne swallows her loneliness. Suddenly, shrill laughter breaks the silence. Alta and her lackeys appear, looking down on the fallen noble with words full of disdain, malice descending like a dark cloud. Yvonne defends her dignity with a steady gaze. But Alta shows no mercy, stabbing her with the label of traitor's daughter. Yvonne lowers her head to eat, feigning indifference, but her knuckles turn white from the strain, the grievance buried deep within. How can a duke's daughter eat such trash? Alta pinches her nose in disgust, then leans in with a fake, malicious smile. "It seems I'll have to serve you myself." Danger crackles in the air. The bento box flips, splashing soup all over Yvonne. As harsh laughter erupts around her, she wipes the debris from her face. Her gaze shifts from endurance to fury. She can tolerate insults, but never the waste of food. The spark of rage is ignited. "You food-wasting bitch." Before the curse fully lands, rage manifests into power. A red aura of fury explodes into the air, threatening to swallow everything in sight. The situation reaches its breaking point. "Is this how you guys feed people?" Just as chaos looms, a pink-haired girl storms in. Elsa shouts in righteous anger, yet instantly drifts into a delusional fantasy. If it were her, she'd lovingly feed Evie and bask in her shy smile. Yvonne is left sputtering by this sudden turn of events. When the bullies mock her for helping a criminal's daughter, Elsa doesn't flinch. Instead, she scoffs with supreme confidence. "You guys absolutely suck at bullying." Elsa excitedly proposes demonstrating real bullying, causing Yvonne to scream in terror. "Leave me out of this." Watching the chaos unfold, Yvonne despairs. She must stop the original heroine, or her peaceful school life will spiral into total madness. Out of conscience, Yvonne warns them, "You'd better run." But the bullies, oblivious to their doom, conjure magical flames to fight back. Yvonne watches in sweat-drenched horror. Why do they have such a death wish against a protagonist-level monster? "Back off." Yvonne prays silently, terrified Elsa might accidentally crush them. But the pink silhouette already stands firm. Facing their hostility, Elsa coolly asks, "Looking for a fight?" The air freezes instantly under the crushing pressure. "If it's a gift, then have a drink." Without a single incantation, a massive torrent of icy water crashes down like a waterfall. The bullies are instantly drenched, leaving Yvonne staring in horror. Is this the power of a prodigy mage? It's completely broken. I am Elsa Dorefi Kropka. The polite introduction sounds like a devil's whisper to the bullies, who scream monster and flee. Elsa turns to Yvonne, instantly switching to a pouty face. Yvonne, they hurt my feelings. The external crisis is over, but the real danger begins. Elsa immediately switches to clingy mode, chasing a fleeing Yvonne across campus. We haven't done it today yet. In the sunlit courtyard, this game of cat and mouse radiates a sweetness called bond. Hiding behind a wall, Yvonne's heart pounds. Why does the heroine always say such accidentally suggestive lines? Suddenly, a warm hand clasps her wrist. Elsa pins her in the corner, leaning in with a beaming smile. I caught you. So, how are you going to bully me today? Yvonne instinctively recoils from the intimate embrace in the flowers, pushing Elsa away and frantically denying any intent to bully, desperate to maintain her crumbling facade. The system shatters the peace, a blood-red timer hovering in the air. Lock her in a sealed room. The absurd command weighs heavy, forcing Yvonne to grit her teeth and search for a location. She tentatively leads Elsa into an empty classroom, heart pounding. But the system's cold prompt pops up instantly, has Windows invalid, rendering the awkward attempt futile. Even the restroom is rejected by the system. Yvonne sighs in frustration, but as they exchange glances, an idea strikes her: the rarely used ingredient storeroom. Thinking of the impending solitude, Yvonne's fingers graze her bow tie, a blush creeping up her cheeks as a secret anticipation for this forced task blooms within her. Facing Elsa's confusion about the lock, Yvonne triumphantly dangles the spare key like a trophy, masking the clumsy excuse of having to move heavy alchemy materials. Staring at the key, Elsa frowns. She sharply realizes that dumping such heavy chores solely on Yvonne hints at a hidden layer of bullying and isolation targeting her. With a heavy creak, the wooden door shuts tight. Light is instantly swallowed as they step into the dusty storeroom, the air thick with unknown tension. The moment darkness falls, Yvonne remembers the game setting. Elsa is terrified of the dark. The memory of the heroine crumbling in the shadows rings in her mind like an alarm. Seeing Elsa shivering in the corner, Yvonne doesn't leave. She chooses to defy her villainous role, staying in the darkness to guard this trembling soul until the task ends. Under the dim candlelight, they sit on crates and talk deeply. The tenderness in their words intertwines with past entanglements, filling the sealed space with unexpected warmth. They stand side by side, gazing at the falling snow outside. In this moment, there is no system, no opposing roles, just two hearts quietly drawing closer in the silent night. But its thunderous slip, "I don't like being with you," instantly shatters the mood. Seeing tears in Yvonne's eyes, Elsa is overwhelmed by a tidal wave of regret. Faced with Yvonne's tearful ultimatum, like or hate, Elsa blushes furiously, waving her hands in panic before finally stammering out her true feelings under the pressure. Like. The shy admission earns a radiant smile from Yvonne, hands clasped tightly in the dim light. Though Elsa complains it's sappy, her heart has long since melted. Good times are fleeting. As the countdown hits 0, Elsa stares at the system interface in shock, unable to believe the long confinement has ended so quickly. In the memory of that blooming garden, Yvonne tried to escape, but now the embrace is no longer one-sided. It's a mutual rush of two hearts within a twisted plot. The next morning, Yvonne appears at school in a maid outfit. Facing Elsa's shocked interrogation, she blushes and stammers a ridiculous excuse about a dirty uniform. The surrounding whispers don't faze Elsa. Watching the figure maintain a smile amidst the gossip, a trace of complex affection and heartache flickers in her eyes. In the hallway, Yvonne sharply catches the gloom in Elsa's eyes. She suddenly realizes that the damaged uniform might hide the truth of Elsa being bullied by her roommates. Yvonne blushes at Elsa's cuteness, only to realize this scene mirrors a crucial game event. Panic sets in as she questions Elsa, who smiles bitterly. She has no other clothes left to wear. Hearing about Elsa's financial struggles, guilt gnaws at Yvonne. With a sigh, she softly suggests Elsa come by for spare clothes, causing Elsa's teary eyes to instantly light up with pure joy. Determined to fix the plot, Yvonne gently promises her support. Suddenly, Elsa dives into her arms, sweetly calling her master, leaving Yvonne blushing and scrambling to push away the overwhelming intimacy. After school, Elsa practically floats on air, cheering about their new seating arrangement. Yvonne puts on sunglasses to hide her embarrassment, silently regretting getting entangled with this clingy girl. Despite her stern warning not to push limits, Yvonne can't help but ask about the ruined uniform. Facing this hidden concern, Elsa's eyes shimmer as her defenses quietly crumble under the setting sun. Learning the uniform was maliciously shredded, rage ignites in Yvonne against the bullies. But realizing the financial blow to the impoverished Elsa, her anger quickly melts into deep, aching concern. Why didn't you fight back? To Yvonne's frustration, Elsa simply smiles, claiming she only needs Yvonne's kindness. Flustered by this confession, Yvonne blushes furiously and speeds up to hide her reaction. As the door opens, sunset light floods the hallway. Yvonne feigns casualness, telling Elsa to keep her shoes on, trying to mask her nervousness and care with an indifferent tone. Stepping inside, Elsa inhales deeply like an excited pet. Yvonne's scent is everywhere. She leans against the table in sheer bliss, eyes misty, acting as if she has just entered paradise. Seeing the pile of medical books, Elsa realizes how hard Yvonne works for her mother, and her heart warms. Meanwhile, Yvonne stares at the messy sofa, mortified that she didn't tidy up. While smoothing the sofa cover, Yvonne quietly drops a bombshell. Why don't you move in for a while? Bathed in sunlight, her gentle expression leaves Elsa speechless with gratitude. Elsa is so shocked her mind blasts into outer space. Yvonne frantically explains it's just for protection, but seeing Elsa turn beet red and overheat, the air fills with a frantic, romantic tension. The warmth of their garden embrace lingers as the scene shifts to the next morning. Birds chirp outside, and Yvonne sleeps peacefully, unaware of the surprise awaiting her. Groggily, Yvonne instinctively responds to the morning greeting beside her. A second later, she jerks upright in sheer panic. Wait, why is Elsa sleeping in her bed? Turns out, she moved everything in overnight. Ignoring Elsa's teasing about her cute sleeping face, a vein pops on Yvonne's forehead as she points to the door, gritting her teeth. Get out. Even facing Yvonne's menacing eviction notice, Elsa smiles with satisfaction. Yvonne instantly deflates, realizing this girl actually enjoys her anger and decides not to give her the satisfaction. Seeing Elsa in oversized pajamas, Yvonne softens. But when asked why she didn't sleep on the floor, Elsa shamelessly snuggles closer. The floor's cold, I'd rather be warm with you. Just as they almost sink into the shy embrace, Yvonne bonks Elsa's head to hide her embarrassment. The scene shifts to the kitchen, where she dons an apron, starting their cozy, domestic morning. While Elsa sulks about missing the chance to cook and impress, Yvonne dries her hands. Watching the drama queen, she gently pushes Elsa toward the table. Don't just stand there, sit down and eat. Sunlight bathes the sandwiches as Elsa dramatically vows to savor every bite of this holy meal. Sitting opposite, Yvonne smiles despite herself, muttering shyly, "Quit being so extra, it's just breakfast." The piece of breakfast is shattered instantly as a red warning box pops up. Before Yvonne can react, the system's malicious command flashes before her eyes. Make the heroine eat your leftovers. A task so absurd it leaves her in shock. In the fragrant garden, the script seems to have flipped. Instead of retreating from the bullying, Elsa embraces Yvonne tightly from behind, her eyes shimmering with tears of emotion, coloring their supposed rivalry with shades of romance. To complete the task, Yvonne feigns arrogance and pushes the plate forward, only to lose her nerve at the last second. She abruptly pulls it back, masking her panic with the excuse that you don't deserve this, and cuts the sandwich herself. Harsh words spill from her lips as Yvonne lifts her chin, attempting to maintain her villainous dignity with a condescending stance. Yet, instead of anger, Elsa lowers her head shyly, as if savoring this charity. Seeing Elsa's eyes redden and her body tremble, Yvonne's defenses crumble instantly. Did she take it too far? Anxiety shoots through her like electricity as she begins to regret her damned acting, spiraling into self-doubt. The air seems to freeze. Yvonne holds her breath, staring intently at the lowered face, trying to decipher whether the flushed cheeks signal humiliation or something else entirely, her heart pounding. Why did you have to cut it? Elsa finally looks up, her eyes flashing with dissatisfaction and longing. It turns out she wasn't upset about the leftovers, but about losing the chance for an indirect kiss. Yvonne is utterly defeated by this twisted logic. Yvonne rubs her forehead in exasperation. This girl is hopeless. As she bites into the sandwich, she feels a scorching gaze. Elsa is staring with starry eyes, watching her every chew like a fanatic. Watching Elsa happily devour the leftovers as if they were a delicacy, Yvonne blushes furiously and awkwardly changes the subject, trying to escape this weirdly sweet atmosphere. Amidst the curling steam of tea, Elsa keenly tastes the expensive cinnamon and white sugar. These aristocratic ingredients, so common to Yvonne, make Elsa acutely aware of the status gap between them once again, a trace of loneliness in her eyes. Before the sentiment can settle, Elsa suddenly starts dripping. Yvonne spits out her tea, watching the unguarded scene unfold before her in sheer panic. Her brain instantly short-circuiting. We're both girls, so what does it matter? Wearing only thin underwear, Elsa boldly teases the blushing Yvonne, even generously inviting her to sneak a peek as a flirtatious tension spreads through the room. Amidst Yvonne's embarrassed shouts to leave, Elsa finally finishes changing. The maid outfit with its black bow instantly transforms the earlier awkwardness into a dazzling display of playfulness and elegance, turning the very air pink. Looking at the outfit, Yvonne has to admit it suits her perfectly. But hearing that Elsa took a restaurant job to help with expenses sets off alarm bells in the villainess's mind. This is uncharted territory on the game map. The moment Elsa leaves, Yvonne's gaze sharpens instantly. It's not that she's worried about that silly girl. She just needs to confirm if any male characters who trigger a bad ending will appear there. Disguised, Yvonne sits in the corner of the restaurant, her eyes locked on the busy figure. She can't help but visualize the girl being swept away by some random man, unable to suppress the inexplicable irritation and possessiveness rising within her. The scene freezes on an embrace amidst the flowers. This time, it is Yvonne who wraps her arms around the girl who always chases her. In a game world designed for malice, two hearts are quietly drawing closer, breaking the chains of their settings. Inside the restaurant, Elsa wins over customers and earns tips with her brilliant smile. Meanwhile, in the nearby shadows, Yvonne pulls her hat down low, her gaze sharp as a hawk's. Target detected, surveillance mode fully engaged. Elsa's eyes soften as she silently pictures her childhood friend, who is a bit strange but warm. Yet, in this tender moment, a mischievous boy poises on a chair nearby, and danger quietly closes in. Ignoring his parents' desperate cries, a playful boy barrels straight into Elsa. The tray tips, and the scalding soup wobbles dangerously, disaster just a heartbeat away. No time for magic. Elsa grits her teeth, choosing to fall backward to shield the child, bracing herself for the burn. Suddenly, a furious roar slices through the air. A firm hand grips her arm. Elsa's eyes widen in shock as she finds herself catching Yvonne from behind, who frantically balances the tray, using magic to suppress the splashing soup. After ensuring safety, Elsa helps Yvonne up while sternly scolding the brat. But just as the boy apologizes to Yvonne, he turns and calls Elsa a scary-looking lady, instantly igniting her rage. Even with the brat gone, Elsa's fury doesn't subside. She seizes Yvonne's wrist, demanding to know why she recklessly risked getting burned. Beneath the roar lies ill-concealed fear and concern. Yvonne tries to defend herself with clumsy logic, but clamoring customers cut her short. As she rushes back to work, Elsa releases her grip, her fingers grazing the fallen hat, her heart heavy with complex emotions. Go back to work. I'm heading out. Elsa drops the cold words and turns away, leaving Yvonne calling out in vain amidst the bustle. By nightfall, only Yvonne remains in the empty shop, nursing her solitude. Just as Elsa feels abandoned, the manager smiles, mentioning her friend is still waiting. Disbelieving, she looks outside to find that silly girl, blushing and waiting happily instead of being angry. Misunderstanding cleared, the manager hands over the wages with a warm smile, encouraging the girls to enjoy their weekend. Elsa takes the envelope, her eyes sparkling with gratitude and anticipation. Changing out of her uniform and fixing her messy hair, Elsa steps out under the manager's approving gaze. In the sunlight, Yvonne sits quietly in her blue dress, looking like a beautiful painting. The warmth of that embrace lingers in memory, but reality shifts back to the outdoor cafe. Faced with Yvonne's sincere thanks, Elsa turns away, masking her shyness with a cold tone. Since we're here, let's look around. Yvonne excitedly tugs at Elsa's arm. Faced with those teary, puppy dog eyes, Elsa's resistance crumbles instantly, letting herself be led hand in hand into the bustling market. Subtle warmth flows between their fingertips as they both secretly wonder if this counts as a date. Suddenly, Elsa changes the subject, scolding Yvonne for her earlier recklessness, instantly making the atmosphere heavy. Yvonne lowers her head, shadowed by memories of neglect. She was supposed to be worthless in this world. Yet Elsa's voice pierces the gloom. You know, you could be more selfish. If I got hurt, would you worry? Faced with this tentative question, Elsa blurts out, obviously. The hesitation-free answer instantly turns both their faces beet red, filling the air with the sweet scent of romance. Mustering all her courage, Yvonne asks tremblingly, "Can I really be a little selfish?" Meeting an affirming gaze, she shouts her deepest desire at Elsa. Then, "I want to make you fall in love with me." Flustered by this sudden directness, Elsa demands she pick a different wish. But Yvonne, clutching a pillow, smiles with sly determination. "I'm not changing it. I'm stuck on you for this lifetime." In the clothing store, Yvonne excitedly picks up a purple ribbon, signaling for Elsa to bend down. As they lean in, hair entangling and breaths mingling, an ambiguous intimacy far beyond friendship flushes both their ears. Inside the boutique, Yvonne adjusts the ribbon with gentle precision. Seeing the purple dress in the mirror, a smile touches her lips, and she reaches for her wallet without hesitation. To Yvonne's surprise, Elsa bought nothing for herself. Before she can ask, Elsa snuggles up like a clingy kitten, her smile radiating pure contentment. Meanwhile, in a sophisticated cafe, Yvonne holds a menu, her cheeks flushed crimson. A seemingly calm afternoon, tea hides a brewing storm of heart-pounding emotions. In the school office, Ms. Eunice eyes over a mountain of scrolls. Suddenly, Elsa lends a helping hand, her angelic smile instantly healing the teacher's exhausted soul. However, remembering the bullying rumors, Eunice's expression darkens. She probes about school life, but Elsa simply smiles and deflects, only deepening the teacher's concern. As Elsa hurries away, Yuna watches with unease. Suddenly, a massive stack of boxes tips over. Danger crashes down toward the fragile figure amidst a startled cry. It was a close call, but the teetering tower makes Yuna's heart skip a beat. Watching the girl struggle to balance the load, her suspicion hardens into certainty. In the sunlit corridor, Yuna tries to help, but Elsa adamantly refuses. Seeing the girl's forced smile and heavy burden, a fire of righteous justice ignites in Yuna's heart. Elsa stumbles away to meet her deadline, leaving Yuna convinced she's being coerced. Meanwhile, at the edge of the woods, the bully Yvonne waits alone, her expression complex. Though Yvonne complains about the delay, her eyes instantly lock onto the sweat on Elsa's brow. She orders the load down, her tone hiding a worry she won't admit. The malicious task transforms into a sweet picnic. Yvonne awkwardly offers a reward, only for Elsa to seize the chance, turning it into a flirtatious feeding session. While Yvonne flushes crimson over an indirect kiss, Yuna, spying from the bushes, misinterprets the sweet scene through a filter of horror as forced feeding. Yuna conjures a demonic image of Yvonne and snaps a twig in terror. Hearing the noise, Yvonne spins around with a piercing glare, scaring the spy out of her wits. With a shriek, Yuna flees in a cloud of dust, vowing to save her next time. Yvonne stares at the retreating figure, completely baffled by the chaos. As the dust settles, an exhausted Elsa leans onto Yvonne's shoulder. Yvonne moves to push her away, but freezes instantly at the sound of soft, steady breathing. Time slips by until Elsa wakes in warmth, realizing she's been using Yvonne's lap as a pillow. Seeing Yvonne sitting motionless to let her sleep, her heart melts. Yvonne grumbles, rubbing her numb legs, but Elsa playfully tries to stay put. Sunlight filters through the leaves, illuminating their affectionate bickering. Watching Yvonne's profile as she resumes reading, Elsa's gaze softens with adoration. Spending the afternoon under such bullying feels like the greatest happiness in the world. Just as Elsa basks in bliss, Yuna bursts forth, gripping her hands with the fire of a savior in her eyes. "I will save you." Elsa is left utterly bewildered. Phase 1 of the rescue. Yuna forces a seating change. Seeing herself and Elsa separated by the room's full diagonal, Yvonne keeps a straight face, but secretly breathes a sigh of relief. Faced with a mandatory seat change, Evie clings to her book, eyes red with grievance. Her pitiful appearance draws a helpless sigh from Elsa. Under the afternoon shade, Elsa tries to complain, only to hear Evie righteously demand to be bullied. This absurd request leaves even Evie wondering, is this really a punishment? Elsa frantically denies her strange anticipation of being bullied, but the seat change acts as a key, unlocking memories and pulling her thoughts back to the days before her transfer. In that memory of a sun-dappled afternoon, Evie beamed without a care, while beside her, Elsa cast her eyes downward, hiding secret thoughts amidst the laughter. Time rewinds 3 years to the Magic Academy. Undercurrents surge in the lavish banquet hall, while at the end of a dark corridor, an isolated Elsa swallows her desperate tears. The desk is carved with vicious curses, each word a dagger. Elsa's trembling fingers trace the scars before she takes a deep breath, her palm glowing with magic to erase the humiliation. Golden light repairs the desk, but cannot silence the piercing mockery around her. To survive in a hostile academy, she forces a smile, silently swallowing all the pain. Get out my way. An icy voice shatters the peace. As they become desk mates, Yvonne glares darkly, issuing a declaration of bullying to the seemingly fragile commoner. Confused, Elsa recalls the girl's contradictory past. Suddenly, a harsh screech cuts through the air as Yvonne violently yanks the chair out from under her. In the nick of time, Yvonne catches her. Seeing the magic spike protruding from the chair, Elsa realizes the angry shout concealed an intent to save her life. Don't get the wrong idea. I'm bullying you. Facing Yvonne's thunder cover-up, Elsa hides a smile. This clumsy kindness marks the beginning of their bond. Memories drift like the breeze, returning to the present picnic. The past, full of misunderstandings yet strangely warm, makes this moment of peace under the shade even more precious. Back to where it started, Yvonne hides behind a menu, eyes filled with deep confusion. Turns out a villainess's bullying can be unexpectedly moving. In the library, faced with Elsa's enthusiastic greeting and barrage of compliments, Yvonne fidgets, trying to mask her inner panic with cold pleasantries. Elsa admires the refined life of a duke's daughter, unaware that Yvonne's lowered eyes are filled with the alienation of a commoner reincarnated into this rigid class hierarchy. Surrounded by vicious rumors about Elsa's background, Yvonne tries to endure, but the piercing words finally cross the line, causing her to snap and stand up in fury. Shut up. Your grades aren't even as good as hers. Yvonne's harsh scolding shocks everyone. Elsa's eyes widen, seeing the villainess shine for the first time. After chasing away the bullies, Yvonne awkwardly demands Elsa's textbook, claiming to bully her, but her reddening ears betray the soft thank you that follows. Just as Elsa bites her finger, worrying about being punished for lacking a textbook, she watches in surprise as Yvonne slowly opens the note-filled book between them. Taking the book was the bullying. Now we share. Yvonne looks away, forcing an explanation. Sunlight spills across the desk, illuminating this clumsy friendship named bullying but defined by protection. Feigning annoyance, Yvonne commands Elsa to scoot closer to share the textbook. As their shoulders touch, the faint scent of Yvonne's perfume sends Elsa's heart into a frantic, rhythmic flutter. Bathed in afternoon sunlight, Elsa plays the maid, her fingers lingering in Yvonne's wheat gold hair. The intimacy of the touch sparks a dangerous longing, a wish to remain by her side like this forever. As the bell rings, Yvonne abruptly demands to keep Elsa's book. The unexpected request catches Elsa off guard, flushing her cheeks with confusion and a sudden spike of anticipation. Leave it in my desk. They won't dare touch it. A command disguised as protection. Elsa's heart lurches, torn between the warmth of being cared for and the cold reality of their status gap. Turning away, Yvonne haughtily declares her exclusive right to bully Elsa. It sounds less like a warning and more like a claim of possession, leaving Elsa flushed and starry-eyed with affection. Elsa is completely undone, her heart pounding against her ribs. Clutching her chest, she realizes with shock that she's actually looking forward to tomorrow's bullying, her anticipation overriding all reason. Under the shade of a tree, Elsa mentions Prince Michel's assistance. Yvonne's smile freezes instantly. Why would the intended male lead get involved to help a villainess like her? Unease creeps in. It turns out Elsa begged him for help. Looking at the girl who risked everything for her, Yvonne feels a complex swirl of emotions. When asked why, Elsa simply smiles. Because of what you said. Destined soulmate. The phrase Yvonne once used to spoil the plot has returned to haunt her. She scrambles to explain, realizing with horror that the storyline has completely derailed in Elsa's imagination. Unfazed, Elsa gazes deeply at Yvonne, fully accepting this bond. Yvonne, caught off guard by the direct confession, can only blush furiously and turn her head away, unable to meet those burning eyes. Overwhelmed by embarrassment, Yvonne chooses the only option left, flight. She tosses out a sharp retort and storms off, leaving Elsa calling out desperately behind her, her Sundara mask crumbling. The chase dissolves into a sweet, arm-in-arm stroll. When Elsa suggests a bathroom break, Yvonne grumbles about her clinginess, but nostalgia for past friendships softens her into a gentle compromise. Suddenly, the accursed system blares. Prevent the heroine from using the restroom. The sheer absurdity drains the color from Yvonne's face. She stares at the unsuspecting Elsa, screaming internally in despair. With no choice, Yvonne lies about the crowd and leads Elsa away. The cruel countdown begins. For the next 30 agonizing minutes, she is forced to play the role of the absolute villain. Yvonne hides behind a menu, her eyes darting nervously. This game of shame forced by the system is pushing her relationship with Elsa to a dangerous, ambiguous tipping point. Finally, Yvonne traps Elsa against the lockers, wrapping her arms tight around her from behind. "Didn't you say you wanted to be bullied?" she asks shakily, while Elsa trembles in her arms, flushed and overwhelmed. System warnings flash wildly, fueling Yvonne's panic. Yet, instead of resisting, Elsa tearfully submits to everything. Her absolute trust makes Yvonne feel less like a villain and more like a pervert. "Don't leave me." Pushed to her physical and emotional limits, Elsa clutches Yvonne's skirt, begging. Heart-wrenching, Yvonne can only stroke her hair gently, enduring the torture alongside her for the final 15 minutes. Desperate to ease Elsa's pain, Yvonne grasps for a loophole, suggesting something absurd. Elsa's gratitude instantly morphs into shock and shame as the implication sinks in, her scream marking the last line of her dignity. Seeing Elsa's fierce refusal, Yvonne apologizes profusely, holding her tight once more. Relief washes over her. Elsa is still normal. In the agonizing final 10 minutes, their shared body heat becomes their only solace. Elsa's strength fails her, and she teeters on the edge of consciousness. In the nick of time, Yvonne catches her from behind, crying out her name in alarm. Elsa lashes out in humiliation, blaming Yvonne. Guilt-ridden, Yvonne realizes she can't let the weakened girl sit on the dirty floor, trapping her in a dilemma. To let Elsa rest, Yvonne bites the bullet and makes a blush-inducing proposal. "There's no other way. Just sit on me." Chapter 17 begins. The villainess seems to have the upper hand in this emotional game, but how sweet is this victory really? Guided by Yvonne, Elsa shyly complies. As their bodies press together in a tight embrace, their heartbeats seem to echo loudly in the confined space. Elsa completely melts into the warm embrace. Yvonne watches the system countdown, calling time at the last second, though she can barely hide her own reluctance to let go. A day later, Yvonne tries to invite Elsa to hang out as usual, hoping to make up for crossing the line, but she doesn't expect Elsa's intense reaction. The intimacy was evidently too much for Elsa to handle. Face burning, she screams and refuses to get close again, leaving Yvonne completely bewildered. Despite the awkwardness of the day, delicious food heals all under the warm dinner lights. Watching Yvonne, a thought of spending a lifetime together quietly blooms in Elsa's heart. Watching her beloved enjoy the meal, Yvonne realizes that in this once empty house, it is Elsa who has filled the void in her heart. Washing dishes side by side, the atmosphere is perfect. Elsa casually mentions keeping the kitchen clean to avoid those bugs, unknowingly triggering Yvonne's deepest fear. Merely hearing the word makes Yvonne pale, and she frantically stops Elsa. Confused, Elsa begins to sense the genuine terror behind her reaction. Chapter 18, Crisis Strikes. For Yvonne, this might be more terrifying than any villainous task, a challenge of dignity and survival. Yvonne confesses her loathing for insects. Elsa tries to comfort her with logic about their medicinal value, but this only makes Yvonne feel more disgusted and broken. To soothe the verge of collapse Yvonne, Elsa suggests using an insect-repelling charm, offering what looks like a lifeline to the terrified girl. Despite the promise of magic, Yvonne stands before the cupboard, trembling. While reassuring herself of its cleanliness, she shakily reaches out her hand. Nightmare made real. A dark figure lunges onto Yvonne's hand. Losing all reason instantly, she lets out a blood-curdling scream. Yvonne collapses to the floor, trembling violently, tears streaming down. Traumatized, she instinctively screams and recoils from Elsa's attempt to comfort her. "I might have to amputate it." Elsa cradles her arm as if wounded in battle, tears welling up dramatically. Yvonne sighs, looking down at the drama queen. "Don't be so dramatic. It's just a bug bite." But fear is contagious. Though she comforts her, Yvonne's mind races. If there's one, aren't there thousands hiding in the walls? "Don't worry, I'll get a charm after work." Her gentle promise momentarily soothes Elsa's anxiety. "Are you leaving me all alone?" Elsa sits on the floor, eyes wet like a frightened deer. Critical hit. Yvonne's heart melts instantly, her rationality ascending to heaven. Her only thought, "I must take this adorable creature with me." This is truly a divine blessing. Yvonne silently thanks the gods, imagining herself with wings to protect her. Cut to reality, a sunlit picnic where Elsa shyly averts her gaze, while Yvonne's smile outshines the midday sun. Another day, another disguise. Yvonne, dressed in elegant purple, awkwardly hides behind a menu. forced to play the villainess. Her mask is slipping fast in the face of Elsa's increasingly straightforward affection. Flashback to the panic. Elsa clings to Yvonne, trembling over the monstrous bug. Yvonne whispers comforts, her heart racing. Does Elsa rely on her out of trust, or because she simply doesn't take Yvonne's villain persona seriously at all? Just staying like this is enough. Elsa savors the warmth, hugging Yvonne from behind. But the romance lasts less than 3 seconds before Yvonne's clueless, "Are you feeling hot?" instantly douses the intimate mood with ice water. Outside, Elsa teases her with a defunct title. "We're here, your ladyship." Yvonne blushes, pulling out a book to hide her embarrassment while snapping back. "Stop calling me that. I quit being a noble ages ago. By the way, where's your maid outfit?" Elsa asks casually, triggering Yvonne's memory of a changing room mishap. Watching Elsa run off with a smirk, realization dawns on Yvonne that Brad is definitely teasing her on purpose. Finally, peace. Yvonne sits alone in the shade, opening the secret garden. Dappled sunlight falls on the pages as she tries to immerse herself in the text, hoping to calm the heartbeat Elsa so easily disrupted. Just as she reaches the exciting elopement scene, a cheerful "Order, please," breaks the silence. Yvonne looks up to find a pink-haired maid beaming at her. Wait, does that smile hide some kind of shocking news service? This menu is suspicious. Delicious magic, loving feeding. Looking at these pink-tinted paid services, Elsa feigns shock, but her mind involuntarily drifts to an image of Yvonne feeding her. Oh no, she's actually into it. Meanwhile, the real Elsa stares at the menu in her hands, brows furrowed tight. The paper listing special services trembles in her grip as shock, shame, and a nameless anger brew within her eyes. What the hell kind of services are these? Elsa slams the table, furious. Yvonne frantically explains it's to save the cafe from bankruptcy. But to Elsa, it looks like throwing the person she cherishes into a fire pit. "Don't worry, I can protect myself." Yvonne confidently points to the heart charm, claiming it's just an act. But to Elsa, that charm looks like a glaring target, challenging her patience with every passing second. That idiot doesn't get it. Elsa sits on the edge of her seat, biting her lip in anxiety. She knows Yvonne's trouble magnet, nature too well. If some creep tries anything, just imagining it makes Elsa unable to breathe. I won't let that happen. Elsa stands up abruptly, shedding her gentle heroine persona for a queen-like resolve as she storms to the counter. With a heavy thud, a bag of gold coins slams onto the table, silencing the room. The crowd gasps, eyes fixed on this big-spending noble lady. Ignoring the whispers, Elsa points a finger straight at the pink-haired figure, eyes burning with possessive desire. "I'm picking her. She belongs to me for the rest of the day." The manager is thrilled. Yvonne is dumbfounded. Forced to stand before Elsa, she's silenced by the girl's overwhelming aura. "Why are you standing there? You've been chosen." Elsa leans in, a dangerous smirk on her lips. Yvonne screams internally, Is this reverse bullying?" Yvonne declares ownership with a smirk. Her commanding sit doesn't humiliate, but rather sends a mix of anxiety and thrill through Elsa, who obeys with a blushing face. The bullying facade cracks, revealing protective jealousy. Yvonne leans in close, scolding her not as a master, but as a guardian terrified of anyone else taking advantage of her. Learning this submission is exclusive to her, Yvonne clumsily tries to shield Elsa with money. To Elsa, however, this frantic concern sounds delightfully like a possessive lover's jealousy. Blushing, Elsa reveals her reason. She craves a partnership of equals, not charity. Yvonne's resolve melts into understanding, the tension dissolving into a gentle, affectionate silence. Resting in the comfort of a lap pillow, Yvonne analyzes her success, only for the cruel red system window to shatter the peace with a new, malicious command looming over them.